everyone, welcome to the 30-day photo challenge April 2021 edition. My name is Elsie and I'm a Kenyan photographer based in the UK. So for the whole month of April, I'll be sharing with you photo stories from BIPOC Women Photographers. And we have one with us now. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh gosh. Okay. So my name is Beatrice and I'm a London-based photographer. I shoot portraits, food, and weddings, and occasionally personal projects and campaigns as well, based on what comes up. Yeah, that's me.
Cool. Thank you for joining us
You're
today.
welcome.
So Beatrice, would you like to share with us your photos, a story about the photos you're presenting?
Okay. So I shot this during the lockdown, actually, last week on a walk. So normally I do street photography once in a while. I haven't shot in a while. And I've been thinking, oh, I should go out during the lockdown, but I haven't done so. So while I was out walking my dog last week, I just used my iPhone. And I think I was quite inspired by some of the things that I was seeing. I saw the top photograph, the lady sitting by herself reading a book. And I thought, oh, she's all alone. And I saw on the right hand side, there's edges of, what do you call it, on the right hand side. And you can see different people all seated alone. I think there was just there was a couple there. And I just thought, you know, gosh, so many people are alone, especially during this lockdown. And there's that thing of isolation. And I've been thinking about it for since we've been in lockdown. I've been worried about people that live alone, people that have friends. And most of these people, normally life is fine. When you live alone in London, you can go to work and you have your colleagues, you have people that you go for drinks with. But then during this isolation period or lockdown, all of these people are in isolation. So I started I've been thinking about them a lot. So I saw these people and that came to my mind again. And I was just inspired, even though I only had my phone, like, okay, I'm just going to photograph these people, just showing them doing their life alone, which a lot of people are doing, even though they're people, there's some other images as well that I shot. They were like families. Again, there's that thing of families alone, not being able to see other members. So that's the inspiration behind it. And this last picture, this was also shot in the park, and for me, you could see the sunlight in the background, and for me that just showed hope, that even though people are alone, there's this thing of, what, there's hope, there's tomorrow is another day, that you might be alone now, you will not necessarily be alone tomorrow. So people are talking to, as we're doing now, Zoom calls, finding ways to bring hope into their life. So for me, when I saw that just gave me so much hope. And I was like, actually, this light, and then you could see like the darkness all around it, but there's this light just coming through that darkness. So for me, you might be in isolation now, but tomorrow is another day. There's that hope. And that's what that sunlight represents. So for me, this just shows isolation and hope. So yeah, that's the thinking behind it.
Beautiful
Mm-hmm.
photography as always.
Thank you.
And it's something that I normally wouldn't expect from you, to be honest, because I'm not really seeing
Yeah.
you're very good at your portraiture and your food
Yeah.
photography. Um, but seeing like this whole, like you said, people are lonely and isolated, and this lockdown has almost taught us like we need to sometimes switch ourselves into a different mode of thinking, a
Yeah.
different mode of trying to cope with the whole pandemic, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, like with your photography now, you're like, okay, now I can't go out and like have these sessions with doing portraiture of food, because you have to meet people and you're self-isolating. So you've
Yeah.
almost like photography code switched
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
to to street photography,
Mm.
like documenting life outside an
Yeah.
enclosed environment, right? But at the same time,
Mm.
ironically, it is like an isolated, enclosed space when you're
Yes.
photographing these people, right?
Mm.
Because they're like the lady sitting on the tree, you don't know her from anywhere. You just saw her there by
Yeah.
herself, just
Yeah.
relaxing and enjoying being in this space and fresh air.
Mm.
But probably she's going home to be alone again,
Mm.
right? And
Mm.
it can be a bit, what is the word I'm trying to look for? I can't even say. It can be a bit yeah, like you said, sad, really, isn't it?
It can, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think for me, yeah, it can, yeah, it can be a bit sad, but I can't imagine. So you start to, when you see people, you know, as a wedding photography, I'm so used to like watching people. Like I absolutely love watching people. I can sit in the park and just watch people. Like
Mm-hmm.
you start to anticipate what's the next move. And then I started thinking about her. She's sitting there. You hardly get people sitting on the trees in London reading their books. You're
Mm,
probably sitting in a cafe normally, or you're home on the train. But then I'm guessing, you know, I start thinking about her life deeper than that, that she probably just needed to get away from the four walls
mm,
of the isolation, just go outside and see people, not necessarily office meetings, which is all going on Zoom, but like, let me go outside, get some fresh air, get some sun. Because I
mm,
think that day the weather was slightly good, and just see other people walking around, see dogs, see children running
yeah,
around. So for me, it was just like, what else? Why is she on the tree? Why did she choose to come outside, you know, of being under
yeah.
lockdown, you know? So yeah, it's yeah, you start to think of those things. Yeah.
Even photographing the people sitting on the hedge, yeah. It's
Mm,
like almost
yeah.
like they're connecting themselves back to nature. Probably it's something they wouldn't have
Yes.
necessarily done. And the same goes for the lady sitting on the tree. And even you
Mm,
photographing, because you're photographing all these spaces, which on a
mm,
good day, they're normally green and full of leaves. But even during winter, it's like you yourself, metaphorically, taking yourself back to nature, because
yeah.
being cooped inside, it can do something for your mental health, and being outside, it almost like
Absolutely.
releases you, right?
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah. I think there's something about nature. It
yeah.
does that to you, you know. So because, like I said, when you're behind like your four walls, it's just your screen or your walls, and it's
Mm,
almost like even though it's your home, it almost feels like a prison all this
yeah.
period. But then you're out in the nature, you can breathe in like the fresh air, you can see the sun, feel it on your skin,
Mm,
and just being around nature, I think it's therapeutic
yes.
for you, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
did you find by taking these photographs as well, you mentioned the word therapeutic. Did you find it
Yeah,
like you were doing some form of therapy for yourself as well?
listen. I was. It's funny because I go for walks regularly. There's only one particular path that I always tend to photograph, which is it's like I won't call it an alleyway. It's like a row, um, and it's got like branches and trees and vines around it. That's the only place because it's like a long corridor.
Hmm.
That's the only place. But that particular day, as soon as I photographed, I don't think that lady was the first person I photographed. I think I photographed something before her.
Mm,
As soon as I did that, and then I saw her, and I was so excited, and I just started. It, I wasn't looking for images, but I
mm,
would look up, and I'd be like, oh, wow. Even my dog at one point was like eating grass. I photographed him because he was in his own little isolation as well.
yeah.
So there was just something about, I was excited. I felt so free,
Mm,
you know. Yeah, it was actually, I would say it was amazing for me. It was like almost like my senses just opened up, you know. So
yeah.
that's how I felt. Yeah, yeah. And I hadn't felt like that. So I was like, oh, I need to bring out my camera the next
Yeah.
time I go out, you know. So
And this is also
yeah,
a good lesson on, like, even though you don't carry your camera, always shoot with
yeah,
whatever you have, right? Because those moments
absolutely.
is you can't replace them or you can't replicate them, right? So it's a good
Yeah,
lesson on, if you have your phone with you, just continue photographing especially when the
yeah,
mood calls for it, because sometimes you just don't feel like
yeah,
photographing, right?
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, sometimes with when you have your normal camera, you have to. when I do street photography, which I haven't done in a while, my settings normally set for that walk for that day, and the light might change. But the thing about your camera is you can quickly capture what you've seen. Normally, I wouldn't have shared something I've shot on my phone, but in the last with Clubhouse, just a lot of conversations have been happening, and some of the projects that I've seen on social media, companies have actually gotten people to photograph with their iPhones. I know there was a campaign that was Time magazine got this Brazilian photographer to document some of the top female, I guess, in the public eye, photograph them all on iPhones. And I thought, wow, amazing. And if you think about the fact that we're all in isolation now, so normal photo shoots can't happen. So big productions that would normally happen can't happen. So a lot of things are being done remotely. So you can easily just shoot with your phone. So you don't have to wait to have that expensive camera to capture whatever it's in your environment. So
yeah, that's so true. We're gonna do the next section, which is the 5-question round. So I thought this would be a fun way to ask you photography related questions. Just pick the first one that comes to mind. So are you ready?
I am. Let's
go. Fixed or telephoto lens?
Fixed.
Lightroom or Photoshop?
Oh, Photoshop.
Color or black and white?
Black and white all day. Everything in life should be in black and white.
DSLR or mirrorless?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Pick one, quick. 3, 2, DSLR.
1. No, wait. DSLR.
Okay, and the last one, film or digital? Film. That's it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anyway, thank you so much, Beatrice, for sharing your amazing work with us. Please be sure.
Thank you.
Please be sure to follow Beatrice. I'll leave all her details in the description bar below. So until next time, see you later. Bye.
Bye.